Guys, we have a big breaking news coming out. President Donald Trump announced he is preparing to sign an executive order that would classify fentanyl as weapon of mass destruction, citing its deadly impact across the United States. Here's the thing, guys. If this is passed, if this is labeled weapon of mass destruction, this is a guarantee that we are definitely at war with multiple countries. All right, so weapons of mass destruction happening in the US, that's an act of war. All right, so I do believe that's what they try. Again, when I say they, the Donald administration, they're trying to implement this, another way to announce the biblical war. All right, so we do have some more breaking news coming out. Here's another one, guys. I believe this is a sign that the sleeping giant will fall. The sleeping giant will fall. I do believe so, guys. Again, this is a replica. This is not the real deal, but I do believe one day that's going to happen. It's going to happen one day. And I do believe this empire will collapse one day. All right, guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife, Jessica Santiago, at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida, 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also description box. Once again, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it, guys. Also, thank you so much for the kind letters. I received some nice Christmas cards and everything. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Whenever you guys send me letters, make sure you leave your email or a number so that way I could call and just thank you guys for the lovely cards and the support. I really appreciate it. Today's my wife's birthday. She had a good time today. She's not feeling great, but she's, recovering from pneumonia. All right, so she's very thankful, and she thank every single one of you for the birthday wishes. So thank you so much. If you can, please continue to pray for my wife and pray for a lot of people. There's many people in the emergency room in multiple U.S. states. There's something going on here, guys. They keep telling us it's influenza or other stuff, bronchitis, whatever. But what we have is a whole different ball game. Again, we never had anything like this. Like the next day we feel good, and then the next day it's like a whole different, symptoms, headaches, sore throat. I mean, it just, and we had it for a while. It's like, it would never leave. It says here, Donald signed a historic executive order declaring illicit fentanyl and its precursor chemicals, weapons of mass destruction, warning that the drug possessed a threat more capable to a chemical weapon than a narcotic. Again, guys, we went and we took, you guys know Saddam, the guy from Iraq, the guy that wanted to rebuild Babylonian. That never happened. Well, we went in there and we did our job because supposedly he had weapon of mass destruction, which I believe that's what the U.S. is trying to install here. All right, we are seeing weapons of mass destruction within our country. It's coming from Venezuela. It's coming from Colombia. It's coming from Mexico. So another way to declare biblical war. Pay very close attention, guys. Pay very close attention. Today, I'm taking another step to protect us, the citizens, from the scourge of this deadly product flooding into our country. Donald said from the Oval Office on Monday, with this historic executive order I'm signing today, we are formally classifying this product as a weapon of mass destruction because that's what it is. Now, the order asserts that illicit fentanyl is closer to a chemical weapon than a narcotic, noting that as little as 2 milligrams, an almost undetectable trace amount equivalent to 10 to 15 grains of table salt can be lethal. So this thing is brutal. It's brutal. I mean, you could, again, go on TikTok or YouTube or, other platform that have video clips of these people taking those products. I mean, they look like zombies. I mean, I don't know how they stand for that long period of time. And it seems like they're about to fall because they lean forward. But, they still keep their balance, but they just zoomed out. Zombies. And believe it or not, for those of you that don't know, 50, possibly 75,000 pass away every year. Just think about that number. Almost 75,000 gone every year here within Sleeping Giant country. That's why Don is putting a stop to that. It states that hundreds of thousands of Sleeping Giant citizens, there you go, I just mentioned that, have passed from this product every year. Every year. Thousands. Now, you don't hear this on your favorite news station. You don't hear Joe, Barack, or others mentioning that this type of stuff. Why? Ask them. But they will protect and defend the millions that came into our Sleeping Giant country, but they won't protect the Sleeping Giant citizen that's being poisoned with this stuff that's coming in. It's a messed up system. It's a messed up system. I was watching, this is going to be off topic, but this is very important to bring up. So, you guys know Letitia James, right? She was indicted and mortgage fraud and stuff like that. And that's some serious stuff there. Mortgage fraud, that's some serious stuff. And there was a lot more things. But guess what? The judge threw the case and she's no longer indicted. And I'm like, wow. But then I watched one of those court TVs and stuff like that. But this is real life stuff. This one person was arrested for making a jaywalk, and he was stopped by police. The police is like, you can't do that, man. That's illegal. You can't do a jaywalk. You can't do that. And so they searched his pocket. He had one little bag of marijuana, one little bag. And so they cuffed him and everything, and 3 months in jail, $3,000 fine for doing a jaywalk and had a bag of marijuana. And I can understand, certain states had those laws. But you have Letitia committing some big stuff and she free. It goes to tell you the Sleeping Giant system is so messed up. But there's a God in heaven. God will seek revenge. It says here, it describes the gang operations responsible for supplying these products to the U.S. as a fueling lawlessness across the Western Hemisphere and helping finance the terror acts and insurgency abroad. Now, I'm skipping certain words here, guys. Follow me with the code words. So the White House put out this information here. Breaking news! The U.S. commander just declared fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction. This critical step unleashes every tool to combat the gangs and the foreign networks responsible for flooding communities with this deadly substance. The leading cause of many passing among Sleeping Giant citizens, look at this, mostly young people, age of 18 to 40, up to 45. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Thousands gone. Thousands gone. The order also, the order also highlights that the two dominant gangs involved in the product trafficking engage in armed conflict over territory, creating widespread lawlessness that extends far beyond the drug crisis itself. It also warns of the potential for the product to be weaponized in concentrated, large-scale T-attack by hostile actors, a central justification for invoking WMD authorities. Now, as the President of the United States, my highest duty is the defense of the country and its citizens. The order states, accordingly, I hereby designate illicit fentanyl and its core precursor chemicals as weapons of mass destruction. That is coming out from the U.S. Commander-in-Chief. He is putting out that message. I truly apologize about some of these advertisements. The guys, I guess some of those swimwears and stuff like that. I truly apologize, guys. Again, I try to keep the channel clean. Fox News is putting out these informations, and sometimes those advertisements do pop up. The directive outlines a broad interagency strategy to confront the fentanyl using tools typically reserved for nuclear, chemical, biological threat. It instructs the Justice Department, State Department, Treasury Department, the Department of War, and the Department of Homeland Security to take appropriate actions to eliminate the threat posed by illicit product and its precursor chemicals. So the ingredients is similar to the ingredients is used in other equipments, some of them nuclear. Under Section 2, the order requires the Justice Department to immediately intensify investigations and prosecutions. State and Treasury must target these gang with sanctions and financial penalties, while the Department of War and Justice will determine whether military resources should support enforcement efforts. You know what really bothers me? Why the former administration done nothing about this? Why? It's been going on for decades. The doors was always open and the stuff were coming in. Can it be some of these powerful, former that were in power? Were they getting some money in their pockets? Who knows? Who knows? But believe it or not, there are some out there in power that is involved in this type of stuff. Because money talk. And again, the Bible says, you can't serve two masters. There's people out there that serve money. They love money. They do anything for money. Once again, you have the sleeping giant and the Homeland Security are directed to update domestic chemical incidents response plans to include these products, and Homeland Security must use WMD-related intelligence to identify smuggling networks and strengthen counter product operations. There is a lot of good news here. Very important news. The order concludes with definitions of illicit fentanyl and core precursors chemicals and includes standard provision noting that implementation must comply with existing law, creates no new legal right, and will be carried out using available appropriations. The Justice Department will cover the cost of publication as part of the order's implementation. This is yet another action in the U.S. President crackdown on these products on behalf of every American who has lost a loved one. You hear that? Lost a loved one to this poison, White House Press Secretary wrote in a post on X. Justice must be served. Condolences and prayers to the families and friends that lost their loved ones. Everybody's talking about it. You got Chuck, Schumer, you got all these people. It's like, I can't believe Donald is hitting them boats. Why will you hit them boats? The boats is filled with poison that could take out thousands of sleeping giants. You crying over them operating those boats? You should be weeping for the thousands of sleeping giant that has been taken out under your watch, Mr. Chuck. Unbelievable. They cried for those in the boat that's bringing the poison, taking out thousands of sleeping giants. This is where we are right now. And then you got Mamdani is saying, if ICE agents come and start cuffing those in NY. We will start cuffing. We will put them in jail. You can't put ICE agents in jail. But again, he's just yapping, opening up his mouth. But again, guys, we are seeing that certain people in power, they will protect and defend the millions that came into this land. Officials say that the WMD designation will enable more aggressive investigation, deeper interagency coordination, and heighten international pressure on the gangs and their financial backers, marking one of the most significant escalation in the federal gov approach to the product crisis. No bomb does what this is doing, the U.S. president said. We are losing 200 to 300,000 every year that we know of. Stop. 200 up to 300,000 people every year. Whoa. I was off with the numbers. Guys, pay very close attention. Donald said, no bomb does what this is doing. We are losing 200 to 300,000 every year that we know of. So we are officially designating this product as a weapon of mass destruction. That is a big number. Guys, please listen to that number. 200,000 a year. Americans. 200,000 Americans. Gone. Now you understand why Donald has those ships out there in front of Venezuela. Now you understand why he's doing all that. 200,000 sleeping giant citizens gone every year with the stuff that is coming in our sleeping giant country, which Donald labeled weapon of mass destruction. Do you understand now? Now, again, let's put politics to the side. We need to protect our sleeping giant citizens. Most of them are young ones, age 18. They haven't seen the age of 25. Everybody's so worried about, oh, the boats are getting hit. The boats, they're hitting the boats. That boat is filled with poison that could take your young ones' necks. Anyway, guys, please pray, continue to pray. We are definitely seeing some biblical war rising, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. What are your thoughts? Leave comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. God bless you all. Till next time later. Peace.